Yeah, absolutely. We had some quality issues that we discovered in November last year. We've fixed those issues and we're back on plan to deliver product. So yes, we're back on plan. Well, that's an interesting question. So just to give you an idea of why we developed Wyld Fusion, when we were actually developing the whole satellite IoT solution, we were looking for a platform to buy from a third party to support satellite IoT connectivity. But all the platforms that were available only supported terrestrial connectivity, so terrestrial connectivity for the Internet of Things. So we actually ended up having to develop our own platform to support both satellite and terrestrial IoT. And what we've found is that there's a lot of operators or terrestrial IoT operators out there that want to move to satellite. So they want a combination of terrestrial and satellite connectivity. And they've started to look at how they can use Wyld Fusion as a platform to support their existing terrestrial connectivity and their new satellite connectivity they're buying from Wyld. And to give you some examples, we've actually got 3 customers that are looking to migrate. The largest one's got about 1 million terrestrial IoT devices, and he's looking to migrate all of those devices onto the Wyld Fusion platform. So yeah, it's a really exciting solution for us. We will continue to use the product as our own product for our own network, but we're also offering it to customers that want to have a combined terrestrial and satellite solution. And we've looked in the market, and reality is there is only one platform that can do that, and that's Wyld Fusion. Yeah, so ESA is the European Space Agency, and it's a contract we were awarded to develop some hardware and software to be deployed into satellites. And the whole concept of the project and the products we've already delivered to ESA, the European Space Agency, is to understand and develop a solution that allows satellite operators to mesh satellites together. And when we talk about meshing satellites together, it's about how we can send data from the ground to a satellite, and then that satellite can send that data to another satellite that's closer to a ground station. So it reduces the latency or the time it takes from data to be sent from a device to then be received by the end user. So the whole concept is about how to reduce the number of satellites that are getting launched into space and how to use them more efficiently. And if I give you an example, Elon Musk, with his Starlink project, has deployed about 5,500 low Earth orbiting satellites as of November last year. He was planning to go to about 12,000 satellites and potentially up to 42,000 satellites. But as you can see with the technology that we've developed in conjunction with the European Space Agency project, we could actually reduce the number of satellites that he would actually have to launch to provide a high capacity, high bandwidth satellite solution. Partnership's going tremendously well. I think we're probably ahead of where we thought we would be at this time. And I think more importantly, the project itself has become much larger than we initially anticipated the project to be. So yes, the partnership's going very well. Yeah, sure. So that project in Saudi Arabia is a project with Wyld and Brinja, which is a Swedish company. And that project is to actually look at faults in bridges. And what the Ministry of Transportation wants to do in Saudi Arabia is to monitor the well-being of about 2,500 bridges. So they're out of range of connectivity, terrestrial connectivity. So they're looking for satellite connectivity to collect that data, and then using digital twins to actually understand, if there's any structural issues with those bridges, or if there's potentially structural issues in the future, so they can actually go out and maintain those bridges. So it's a really exciting project. We believe there's a lot of business for us in Saudi Arabia, and as you're aware, in Saudi, they're putting a lot of effort into space technology and use cases around low Earth orbiting satellites. Yeah, the Prina Group is a company in Brazil, and we signed an agreement with them. And what they're looking to do is to use the Wyld IoT satellite connectivity solution to monitor their supply chain logistics. So they're a large company, and they want to be able to put our devices onto their containers that are actually on roads. So it's road transportation and train transportation, to actually understand where those containers are, but also to look at the humidity and temperature within those containers. So that project's going well, and we expect that one to really start to deliver substantially more business moving forward. Yeah, there's actually two deals we signed in Australia. One of them is for soil moisture sensors, so it's understanding how much moisture is within the soil. So there's a company in Australia that's deploying our technology to collect that data from their soil moisture sensors. And there's also another deal that we did in Australia, which is tank level monitoring. And they really want to understand the level of water reservoirs, the level of water within inside containers and tanks. And obviously, majority of those tanks are in areas where there's no connectivity, so they're using Wyld to collect that information. IOF is really interesting. So yeah, it's an Argentinian company, but they're rolling out our solution in Argentina and Brazil. And what they do is two things: is they want to measure the level of grain within silos, so that they know when to actually collect that grain and distribute that grain. But they're also looking to use Wyld Connect to actually locate and measure the location of all of that grain as it goes from silo to factory. So there's multiple use cases with IOF, and it'll cover Argentina and Brazil. That's a great question. I think the first thing we want to accomplish is to get Wyld Fusion launched. It already is out there and working, but we want to get more customers onto Wyld Fusion. As I say, we've got 3 deals in the pipeline at the moment to get customers onto Wyld Fusion as terrestrial operators. One of them is about 1 million subscribers to move onto Wyld Fusion, and the other 2, one's in Colombia and another one in Peru. So we expect to start to see Wyld Fusion being used outside of the Wyld network itself in 2024. I think 2 other things that we want to see in 2024 is really to expand our customer base and to start to increase the number of deals that we're signing and continue to ship product. I think the last thing we really want to do in 2024 is to start to see the data revenue really exploding. So that's the amount of money our customers pay us to use the network. As we're deploying more devices into the network, we're really looking to start to see that data revenue grow.